Good evening, everybody. I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is the City of LaPorte Redevelopment Commission meeting. The time is 5:17 on June 30th. Could we all please say rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call. I myself, Brian Chalik, is here. Miss Jenna Francisconi is here. Betsy Parkinson is here. Mr. Damon Gassaway is here. And Mr. J.T. McDermott is here. So all present and accounted for. Public comment. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none, it's 5:18. We'll close the public comment. Minutes. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes? Yep. Any additions, subtractions, changes, corrections? Everything good?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from May 24th, 2021 regular meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of passing the minutes as presented, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposing? Hearing none, passes 5-0. Claims. I'm going to amend the claim docket. We have one additional, and I'm going to need a motion for that. Something that we didn't see coming. Has everybody had an opportunity to look at that and all the claims?
I'll make a motion to amend the claims docket to include the additional payment.
Okay.
Bond
I need to
payment.
state the claim.
Yeah, let's say what it is.
Okay, the payment is basically our a lease rental payment for the bonding. It's to the tune of $174,131. You all have a copy of that, correct?
Correct.
Which needs to be paid by the 15th of July. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the claims?
I have a question.
Sure.
I thought the total on that one, the one we are adding, is 176,000. No?
I saw 170 for the principal, and the interest was 4131, unless I'm not
Okay.
looking at it right.
It is 176,000.
Yeah, it says total.
Where?
It says-
Oh, there it is, 176,000.
Yeah, it says total.
We don't have a copy of it. It's the second to last payment.
So this sheet that the Wells Fargo sent us isn't correct. Oh, it is correct. I'm sorry, I read it wrong. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm sorry, that was my mistake. It is 176,000. And as Courtney just said, it's the second to the last payment, so we won't have to do it one more time. We have a motion, we have a second. Any other discussion?
I have a question.
Sure.
It looked like the bill or the invoice for GIS for the 787, one
Yes.
of them was stamped paid.
Courtney, was that paid by your office?
I will have to see if it actually, we might have had to get the check out already, but we still need it approved at the
Meeting?
meeting, yeah. So I'll have to see, it just might have been a cross in,
I saw the same thing too, but I just assumed it was an internal.
yeah, there was a check number 37924 already issued, so that one was paid, but we still need it approved.
We
at
still
the-
need it approved. You paid it in advance of our approval, correct? Which you probably had to do, timing-wise. Any other questions? Or you understand that? So I have a motion and a second. Discussion, no further discussion? Although, all those in favor of passing the claims docket, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, it passes 5-0. Old business, Qualls Development Agreement. Mr. Cook, would you like to explain this to us?
Absolutely,
Or help us with this?
absolutely. Bert Cook, Executive Director of the LaPorte Economic Advancement Partnership. Good evening to the Redevelopment Commission. So the agreement that you have in front of you today is something that we've long talked about. Most of you remember this has been an agreement in principle for the last year and a half or so. It relates to the spec building that is being built in the Thomas Rose Industrial Park by the Qualls family. It's a 150,000 square foot industrial, metal panel industrial building that, if you've been out there recently, you'll notice that it's partially constructed at this point, and they're making great progress there. So as we worked through this agreement, and Attorney Hagenow put this together and has, as always, has been very vigilant in the terms that the Redevelopment Commission has offered to this particular developer. They had obviously gotten started under the principal agreement, but we need to make sure that this officially gets signed. So I wanted to highlight a few of the, I think, most relevant details here. Again, you will have heard me go over this with you multiple times, as this is the agreement that the Redevelopment Commission crafted back a year and a half ago, but for posterity's sake, we'll go through that once again. So it is a 150,000 square foot building. The capital investment made by this particular developer is $6.5 million to construct this building. If you move to page 2 and section 8.0, we can talk through the financial incentives that are included here. And so the agreement falls, or the incentive falls in a couple different ways. It is based on the real property taxes that are generated by this individual project. So as this building is built and fully assessed, they will begin to pay real property taxes, and it is those funds that the Redevelopment Commission is using to incentivize the project. So I stress that first and foremost, because that's probably the question that gets asked most often to my office is, when we put a deal like this together, where do those dollars come from? Are they coming from other taxpayers in the TIF district or the allocation area, or are they coming from this particular project? And so everything is self-contained within this project itself. So we estimate that those real property taxes are going to be in the range of about $136,000 a year. And again, that's an estimate at this time, because until it's fully assessed, we really don't have any idea. We can make a guess, but that's as close as we can get here. So for the first 4 years of this deal, after it's constructed and assessed, the developer will receive those payments back from the Redevelopment Commission for those 4 years. After that period of time, they have the ability to collect the 5th year, or a portion of that 5th year, if they meet certain criteria. They can collect 50% of that amount if the jobs that are created, so the average wage of the jobs within the building, are greater than $25 an hour. And you'll remember that this ties to our stated goal of high-quality employment within our community. And then they have the ability to collect the other 50% if more than 39% of the overall space is leased by a company that is not currently located in LaPorte. So, again, we have significant needs in the industrial market. We have many people looking, but very little space available. So we want to be responsive to those companies who are already located here and are looking for room to expand. But the greater goal would probably be to bring in new companies, new employment opportunities from other parts of the country, other parts of the world. So if they're able to lease more than 39% of the space to a new company, they would have the ability to collect the other 50% of that payment. So if they meet both of those criteria, they would effectively be able to, let's say, recapture 5 years of their real property tax payments. Additionally, there are building permits and tap fees and system development charges. Those tap fees and system development charges are in relation to their water and their wastewater service. The Redevelopment Commission would cover the costs associated with those particular fees. We've input a 2-inch meter into this, so at this point, it's kind of hard to say exactly what size meter they would need, so we made the assumption that it would be the smallest meter that we think is possible, which is that 2-inch meter, and the redevelopment commission would cover those costs associated with that. The other things that I would and that, the total of that, I'm sorry, I didn't total them all up, but you've got for $22,000 or so in total. The other, and you can see a breakdown of all of those particular fees at the bottom of page 2 if you're interested. So the other things that I'll reference are, that I believe are important in this particular project, you don't make any payments until they've paid their property taxes. So as the developer experiences that tax liability, pays their taxes, goes through the county process, and ultimately makes its way to our allocation area, that's when you will ultimately make those payments. Matt, what did we put in there for, as far as timing goes on that?
Well, it's based on the payment, but I think when we were doing the calculations, we thought it was 23.
Yeah, but basically, starting, so the first year fully assessed will be 2022, pay 2023. So that's when the agreement, the incentive will start to be paid out. Additionally, the developer has the ability to expand the building, double the size of the building to 300,000 square feet. And if they chose to do so, the same parameters that govern their incentive on this 150,000 square feet would apply to that space as well. And there are some timetables built in, but they would have the ability to collect that full 5 years on that new space as well. And I would tell you, in speaking with the developer and based on the demand for the space as it stands right now, it's highly likely that I'll be back in front of you in very short order to announce that they're going to double the size of the building and build the other half of the building, which is a great thing for all involved. After the 5 years that this incentive runs, all of those dollars that they pay in will be collected in the allocation area into perpetuity. Those are dollars that ultimately make up your annual budget. You can choose to spend in that, how you see fit in that allocation area. So, you know, I don't know how long the building will last, but it'll be a very, very long time, and they'll be paying those real property taxes from that point moving forward. Any questions about any of that? Anything that I didn't cover that you have questions on? You know, beyond that, what else is here in the agreement is pretty standard stuff. I know the developer is extremely excited about the project. We have hopefully some very big announcements coming at our next city council meeting, which would be next Tuesday, that are related to this particular project. So the timing is perfect to get this signed. The developer has signed the agreement at this point, and so we would ask that you sign the agreement tonight and fully execute this particular agreement.
I'd just like to say I think it's a great project, so good job putting this one together.
Very much so.
I'm excited about it.
I appreciate it. It's, you know, I think back to some of our discussions over the years, and bringing new industrial space to the market is an absolute priority from not just the redevelopment commission, but our city as a whole. So to be able to see this come to fruition and to see the response, we've shown that building. I mean, the building is only partially built, but we've shown that building so many times in the last 2 or 3 months that I think it's just a dead sign that we were correct in identifying the demand that was out there, and that bodes very well for this 150,000 square feet, but also any other square footage that we can bring to the market in the near future as well.
Yeah, the high-paying jobs.
That's tremendous.
Yeah, if Mayor Dermody was here, I can guarantee.
He is here, by the way.
Well, I can guarantee that he would agree with that particular sentiment, because that is a major part of the strategy that we are employing.
All good.
I'll make a motion to approve the Qualls Development Agreement.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other further discussion? Thank you, Mr. Cook.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bert.
No? All in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any opposed? None?
Thank you.
5-0. Thank you. Don George Ford property public offering update. That's you, I think.
Yes, so just wanted to give you an update on the Don George Ford property. We've sent out the notice to bidders, has been published in the Herald Dispatch. To correct myself for a second there, but it is open until July 19th until 4 p.m. The Board of Works will open the bids on July 20th at their meeting. The packets are available in our office, just general information in there about the property, a fact sheet that describes the property is presented in as is and for an adaptive reuse project, if appropriate for the city. And that's kind of all I have. I've shown the property a couple of times, and
That was my
a couple
question,
of the
yeah.
packets have gone out. And
How much interest do we have? Do we have quite a bit?
yeah, right now it's kind of slow, but I've given out like 2 packets. But
It's a holiday, too.
yeah, it's a holiday. Yeah,
Any other questions?
yeah, they have until the 19th. So.
No? New business, do we have any new business? Anybody know of any new business? Any other business? Nick?
Yeah, I had a couple things.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody's been by in the last week, but that last remaining stockpile of soil's been removed as of today. That was the EPA pass-through grant from IDEM. So that was about a $500,000 pile of material that was removed from the site, 100% covered by EPA. So
Good.
very grateful for that. In lines with keeping environmental going over there, I do have another task order for vapor sampling. This is an extension of what Jacob and Hefner have been doing for us. This is 2 rounds of vapor sampling, one this summer, one in the winter. And this is gonna help Flaherty and Collins get everything closed on their site, and then also future development in that area. We had a couple spaces on the site that needed vapor sampling, and really there were only a couple, so that we were very lucky at that. I didn't send it out. I just received it last Wednesday. They can hold off on the work on a little while, and I can send it out and people can review. But it's $10,000 and 2 rounds of vapor sampling, and it's in line with everything we've been doing. So it's up to the board if you want to approve it now, or we can hold it for the next meeting.
Well, let's explain what vapor sampling is.
Yeah, so soil vapor sampling, there were a couple spots, and what's interesting is the material that was causing these issues was all removed, but because the material that was removed had soil gases in it, so mostly in those areas, I think it was petroleum related. So kind of whatever constituents were in the soil, it was removed, but they want to verify that soil gas is gone. So this is an after the fact, after everything's done, and it's actually they wanted to wait until buildings were in, and then that way it would be an accurate kind of description of whether or not any soil vapor was kind of intruding into the building or not. So we don't see much likelihood that it is because all that material was removed.
Right.
But just following the process that IDEM's requiring us to follow.
Do we necessarily need to see the agreement? Tell me what it's
Sure.
about?
Yeah. It's just for the 2 rounds of soil vapor sampling in the vicinity of the Flaherty and Collins building. And it's task order 5 on that existing contract with Jacob and Hefner.
Anybody have a problem going forward with that? Maybe.
When's the first payment due by?
This work won't be done. This work will be done hopefully in July, so we wouldn't have an invoice from them until at least August.
We could go ahead and get a motion to go ahead and do it, start it, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
Yeah, I'd rather have it done in July if we can, but I don't really want to make them do the work without a signed contract also. So, and It's fine either way, whatever the board chooses.
Questions? Comments?
So could we like make a motion pending approval of the contract since we haven't seen it?
Oh, sure.
And then,
Yep.
okay, I'll make a motion to approve the contract pending review.
Can we get a just email response from members?
Sure.
That's
Is
fine.
that okay?
I'm fine with it.
Jenna, you all right with it?
Yes.
Okay. I will email this out tomorrow, and then when everybody can get back to me, we'll have Brian come and get it signed if everybody's comfortable with it.
Okay.
Let's get a second.
Okay. I need a second for the motion.
Second.
You got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor state by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Passes 5-0.
And just kind of keep updating on things going on at Newport Landing. Everything's going really
Going-
smooth with the
going
apartment
smoothly, aren't
complex.
it? Yeah.
So,
By the way, the trees look good.
trees do look good.
Don't have to worry about watering them now, do we?
We still do. No, we're still watering them.
Not with 10 inches of rain.
Yeah, the street department has volunteered their services, so they still water once a week, even with the rain, just to make sure that the tree is getting everything it needs.
How about the fire department? Have they helped out yet?
We didn't need to use the fire
Oh,
department.
I'd like to use that truck for something.
I know.
We paid a lot of money for that truck. We could usually use it to water the trees.
Yeah, yeah. Or the rescue boat would be fun.
Or
to
the
water
boat
some
would be
trees
fun,
with.
yeah. At least go for a ride. Any other business? Nick, you good? Everything good?
I'm good, yep.
Courtney, you're all right? Damon?
Make a motion to adjourn?
I hear a motion. Do I have a second?
I will second.
A motion and a second. All in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you.